Oh, by the way, it's 7:32.
follow suit. And for us, it's all about the pigskin boys. So welcome to week 1 of the NFL. It's a Victory Monday for Columbus, Ohio State, man. It just feels like a good time to be alive if you're a dude right now, Jonathan.
Absolutely, and I just moved to Columbus not too long ago, and I could kind of just feel it in the air, just in the area in Columbus. It felt like at times my apartment complex, I could just hear people cheering whenever anything good happened for Ohio State. Thin walls at my complex, but still a great time, and a lot of people celebrating after that win on Saturday.
Might not be thin walls. You just Buckeye fans are loudmouths, and you'd be heard from anywhere. But yeah, that was a great game. I watched it. I had it on the computer while the Mountaineers were just dismantling Bobby Moe, which not much of a game.
Who'd you guys play?
Robert Morris,
Oh,
Bobby Moe.
okay.
Yeah, it was a game, but that was a very, very entertaining Ohio State Texas game, and Manning. The Heisman hype, I didn't see it in that game. Ohio State, or he is up to the hype of a Heisman candidate. It's just Ohio State's got a really, really good defense.
There's two sides of the equation
they got a really
on every
good
offensive
defense.
snap, and I think the Silver Bullets, they came to play, and they showcased that even though we're replacing a lot of dudes, boy, the cupboard is never bare in Columbus. God bless you, NIL money, and bringing in some big-time running backs as well from West Virginia. So we do appreciate that
He ended up
as well,
scoring
Mr.
a touchdown,
Donaldson.
but well, also Neil Brown, former coach of the Mountaineers, now on Texas's staff. So we thank you. We thank you for, defeating him, knocking him off, because we got an actual coach now in Rich Rodriguez.
Yeah,
We're
we
gonna
actually
get
got the better end of the stick there from West Virginia football.
I think so, too.
Yes, you
yeah.
did, yes.
But we're going to get way deeper into
yeah.
the Ohio State-Texas conversation. We're also going to kick off week 1 of football, guys, so I don't want to dangle too many morsels right now. Let's wait until the topic comes up, and we'll see kind of what games you're looking forward to, what type of bets you're going to be making, what your strategies are with fantasy football. We'll get in the whole 9 yards. It's coming up here tonight. We also, of course, we've got your Friday night phenoms. We've got your top 10 plays of the week from week number 2. So a bunch of you tune in tonight, and it's a very wise decision if you are like a coach or an athlete or a parent or whatever that wants to get in your votes, because it counts for 2 here.
Double dip, baby.
On the podcast.
Double
We do
dip.
like to call it the double dip. So get in your votes here tonight when we show them for the first time on our airwaves. And then CLE-BUS writer Lucas Wickiser, he's here to join us. Of course, he is going to be breaking down the Buckeyes and what we saw over the weekend in Columbus, what we can expect moving forward for the Silver Bullets. And then the Browns, of course. We got the Battle of Ohio going down on Sunday. It's going to be up in Cleveland. I can't seem to find anybody that wants to go with me, guys. And you're a couple of Steelers fans, so I'm not going to invite y'all. But it just it feels like people want to test the waters first with these Browns before they start investing. I'm not sure how to take this.
I think that's a very wise decision.
I'm feeling a little sensitive, though.
Well, at least ticket prices won't be outrageous so far for you guys. And, just don't want to go. Just take my tickets.
But I do remember the last
get up there
time
while you can.
Joe Flacco started for the Cleveland Browns. It didn't go too bad, so I guess we're going to see.
Joe Flacco.
It was a fun year with the Joe Show.
Yeah.
If you want to flack around and find out, be a Cincinnati fan on Sunday coming up. We tend to handle them pretty well. But, guys, we're going to start the show with a head football coach that's now in his 10th year of running a high school program. You just don't seem to see that a lot these days. It's kind of like they'll stick around at a place for a while, and then they'll move on. This man also off to another 2-0 start to the season, something that his team is starting to do pretty frequently here lately. He's also a principal at a school. He is a father and just one hell of a model American, if I may say so myself. Can we please make some noise for the one, the only, Matt Dick?
Thanks for having me.
What's up, man? Hey, we're so happy to have you, man. It's Labor Day, typically a day here in America. No school, of course, for you. You work in a school system, so break it down. How'd this Monday look for you from start to finish so far?
Great practice, start at 8 a.m. It's nice to not have to go to work and get to go do something fun with the kids. Got to bring a little more energy to practice.
So what'd that look like today? How did you make it different from a standard Monday practice?
And, just a little bit quicker, a little faster, giving the kids times to get to those family parties and spend time with their relatives. But we just had energy, a lot of hoot and hollering, a lot of fun. It's a great group of guys, great group of coaches, and we got in and out and got a lot of work done.
And for you, what type of hobbies do you like to enjoy? Are you building some model airplanes, playing some pickleball, going to some movies? How does Matt Dick spend his free time when he's not out on the football field?
I'm a elementary principal. I've got 5 kids, and I'm a head football coach. So that's where my hobbies basically end.
That's fair enough, man. You don't have a lot of time for anything else, but you've had the time to start 2-0. You've been making a nice little run here as of late on beginning the seasons and some pretty convincing wins. I got you 76-20 over your first couple of opponents. So give me some highlights on both sides of the football. Who's showing out? What's working so far so well for the Tigers?
I think offensively, I think our O-line has played solid. Aiden Schmidt has done a great job at quarterback, running and throwing the ball. And we have a ton of playmakers. I mean, we probably have 5 or 6 guys at receiver that touch the ball in different ways. Starting with the Hay twins and Jacob Chambers, but even guys like Jamison Glue, Trey Longwell, Dominic Capretta, all those guys have done some really nice things with the ball. Even Cone Adams, the nice little gadget H-back. So offensively, it's really been a whole host of guys doing a lot of different things. But I would say it probably starts with the O-line up front and the quarterback that's pulling the trigger. Defensively, I just love how we fly around. We got a bunch of little guys. We're probably 5'9", 150 pounds. But they're really, really fast, and they're really, really tough. The D-line, Zach Salee, has been an anchor of our D-line for about 3 years now. Very, very special player, defensive end. All of our linebackers, again, it's like 5 or 6 of them. Sam Evans, Camden Coleman, Cameron Coleman, Trevor Shifley. Who am I missing? Darn it. But all those guys at linebacker can blitz, can cover, can run, just special athletes. And again, all those receivers on offense play defense in the secondary. The Hay twins, the Chambers, Aiden Schmidt, Cameron Smith, Trey Longwell. So lots of guys doing a lot of things, but I think the speed on defense is what makes us special.
You named pretty much everybody on the roster, and I recognize most of the names. So I think, given that, us here in the media, we all thought you were going to have a pretty special season coming out here early on. So given what we knew about the Tigers and the talent, you got your quarterback some reps about midway through the season on into the playoff run. So Travis has a question for you about where you might fit in this year in the MOAC.
Yeah, Coach. 2019, you guys won 8-2, had a good season. Slipped a little bit in that first round playoff game, got knocked out. But last couple of years you had some really good teams, but you were in the same conference as Shelby and Ontario, things like that. Do you believe this is one of your best teams you've had since that 2019 squad that went 8-2? And do you believe that this could be the year with the pickle juice that you guys get to the top of the MOAC and compete for a championship?
I think the tough thing about the MOAC is every team in our conference has a little bit different dynamic that you may or may not match up with well. And I can tell you that Shelby is a very, very elite team. They're very similar to us where they bring back, probably 9 out of 11 starters on both sides of the ball. And obviously they had a ton of success. And our goal is to get to that level and compete with them. I think Ontario, losing Bobkin Miller, I still think they're another team we're chasing. But Bobkin Miller's a pretty special player. Shelby still has DeVito and Bowman and the whole crew. So that's a tough challenge. I think the answer is we're just trying to go 1-0 every week and keep working to get better. And obviously week 4, we start the MOAC, and that's a big week for us.
Talking about 6 playoff appearances in your first 9 seasons too, Coach. But I think that you would probably love to hang that first championship banner within the MOAC. I know you obviously are fixated on Norwalk this week, but just knowing that your MOAC opener is going to be Shelby and the defending champs, and you got to go to their place, do you feel like you have to get that one week 1 of the MOAC in order to go on and win the league?
You never know with them OAC. I've beat Shelby at Shelby before and then lost week 10 to Pleasant and would have won the conference. So anything is possible in MOAC. I wouldn't say that any one week is more important than the other, but obviously Shelby, conference champs, it goes through them first. So, yes, it's a big game, but you could lose that game and win the rest, and someone could knock off Shelby. So, like I said, I think it's a tough competitive league, and I think anything's possible, but definitely Shelby is at the top right now.
I'm reading this is year 10 for you, Coach, and you may be unofficially the longest tenured head coach in Galion football history. So when you hear something like that, being around the longest of any coach in that position before, what meaning does that have to you? And are you a little surprised that you've been there wearing the Galion colors for now a whole decade?
I think time flies. I've always wanted to be a guy that wanted to call a place home and build a program. My kids are a part of the school system. My wife works in the school system. So the times really flies. But I think the weird thing is when I'm sitting around my coach's office and I got my junior high staff, my high school staff there, and there's about 7 guys that played for me. I think that's really a special thing. It's really a neat thing to see guys come back and give back to the program and coach under me, and I'm really proud of that.
Coach, you talk about program building, and a lot of the clips that I see from you guys from our highlights, I see a great crowd in the stands at Galion. Just talk about how that's kind of cultivated throughout the last couple of years and what this community's kind of meant to you and your team.
Yeah, I got to give Kyle Bond a lot of credit. I think it was my first year, maybe a couple years before I got there, he started the Gridiron Club. And the Gridiron Club is just basically a football boosters club that's in our one end zone. And they have built a building to kind of hang out in. They cook food. They make the atmosphere really, really special for our kids. And obviously, they raise funds to help pay for things like uniforms and shoots and end zone cameras and TVs and you name it. They probably bought it over the last 10 years. And the atmosphere is really special. Even coming, we have this ginormous blow up tiger. They come out with smoke. All that stuff is a shout out to that group and those men and women that put a lot of time in to raise some money for us.
Have you guys looked into potentially doing what LSU does and getting a real live tiger to have on the field before the games?
we haven't gone that far. We're not quite mastering.
Well, I don't know, Coach. It could be next on the menu. Seems like the Gridiron Club has certainly been treating you guys well. So many sponsors they come in. We can't even fit them all on the screen when we do your guys' highlights, so they're definitely doing something right out there in Tiger Country. And so are you, man. So continued success. Looking forward to seeing how you guys produce on the road, being away from High C Park for the next 3 weeks. But I'm sure if anybody's going to have them up for the challenge, it is going to be you, Mr. Dick. So keep up the good work, man. But enjoy the rest of your Labor Day. Only wanted to take up about 10, 15 minutes of your night. Get back to kicking back with your 5 kids.
Hey, thanks, man. And remember, go Tigers.
That's right, baby. GT, go Tigers. 10 years now on the job, and I remember Matt, I met him when I was going to college at North Central State. Actually, one of the first people that I met in Mansfield when I moved. It was a friend of my neighbor's and still good friends with my old neighbor back then. So to see what he's been able to do with the program and perennially, they're in the MOAC chase. They haven't won one yet, like he mentioned, and I kind of forgot about that year that they knocked off Shelby. I think they beat Ontario that year. All they had to do was handle Pleasant at home, and they weren't able to do it in that Week 10 matchup. But it feels like they're probably on the precipice, perhaps when maybe Mr. DeVito's out of the way. It seems like Bodpen just kind of graduated, so the door might be open for the Tigers here moving forward.
Yeah, I think it's a very competitive league, but then you got to look at a team that you've covered the last 2 weeks, the Clear Fork Colts as well. Sir. Coach, it hit the nail right on the head. That is up and down. You never know what you're going to get from any team on any given week. I mean, last year, what was it, that rainstorm in Week 10 where Clear Fork won a game. They had, 2 wins all year, and they ended up winning over River Valley, who was doing the race for the championship the last couple of weeks. They win 6-0 or something like that. You just don't know what you're going to get from anybody on any given week, and that's what makes the MOAC so competitive. But I do believe Galion is that competitive squad, and I think they can make that next step. It's just that first game, Week 4, first game of the conference schedule, could very well determine the trajectory of who's going to win the conference.
And I've always been taught there's no better time to take on maybe the big dog in a conference than early on in that conference
when you're
play.
Both healthy. And
both healthy, both kind of still figuring each other out, figuring out what your team's going to be about. So, and I think the big part also with Galion is that simply they're just there every single year. It feels like they're able to just kind of stay towards that upper echelon. That's kind of the hardest thing that you can do as a program is just consistently be up there in the conversation.
They got the pickle juice. That's why. It's the pickle juice.
They got the juice, baby.
They got the juice.
Every Friday morning, they can't start the day without it.
Yeah. I was out there 1 week.
I seen kids getting dragged in there. They didn't want to drink it. They make sure that they're getting it so that there's no cramping going down on Friday night. Well, guys, I can tell you, little pre-look. I've got 2 plays coming up here in week number 2 from the Galion Tigers matchup against the Cary Blue Devils, as we now take a look at the top 10 plays of the week as nominated by our OH reporters and myself. And then, of course, we let you, the fans, decide what was the best of the best. So without further ado, let's check them out.
Here are your Spherion Mid-Ohio top 10 plays from week number 2. Nominee number 1 comes from arguably the number 1 player in the area. That's Shelby's Braden DeVito, handling the high snap, rips through an arm tackle, another, and then gasses down the sideline before escaping one more Lexington tackler. 76-yard touchdown when it's all said and done. One of 4 touchdowns for the Air Force commit, showing his escapability and top-end speed in this rivalry matchup. More Richland County high-powered velocity on the way from the Colt Corral Devin Oswald. Just a simple screen pass, but it's anything but. Weaves to the outside and nobody's got the angle to catch this Clear Fork speedster. 64-yard sprint to Pater on the opening play of the 3rd quarter. 3rd touchdown of the night for the senior as well, in a shutout win over Zanesville. Colts are now 2-0 for the first time since 2018. At nominee 3, Cale Early showing off the magic kit out of the backfield. Now you see me, now you don't, then tackle me if you can, and the Cary defense sort of could not. 40-yard scoring run for the Galion back in a 41-14 win over the Devils. Pulling off the illusionist act here at the line of scrimmage to create a running lane, and he's making that Cale to the tune of 6 points on this impressive run. More love to the bruising backs at nominee 4. Upman Carson Barnum gets the call up the middle and now rumble straight 37 yards all the way to the goal line, setting up the only touchdown of the game. And this nom has to be shared with those purple people eaters up front. The Mount Gilead O-line getting them to the 2nd level, plus Wyatt Long delivers a nice monster block to help the Indians start off 2-0. Northmore's also 2-0, sharing the top of the K-Mac standings. And here's how they knocked off Seneca East in overtime with first-year signal caller Tanner Miley. Breaking the pocket, he'll scramble all the way in, 19-yard touchdown jaunt. What a way to finish off the home opener for the Golden Knights. Game-clinching score for the junior quarterback. You've heard of the football RPO, right? Well, it means a little something different down at Lucas, and Brady Giegold embodies the run people over mentality, only this run may fall under the Cary would-be tacklers category. First contact started all the way back at the Cubs' 35-yard line, and as you can see, the wheels on the bus don't stop turning until he's inside the Hillsdale 25. Falcons got the win, but Brady makes our list because they needed the National Guard and the SWAT team to finally haul him down. More from that game at High C Park, only it's the Devils making the cut at our next nominee. That's Cary's Trip Phoenix spinning out of a sack. Mad dash here near side before he spots Logan Summit in the back of the end zone, and the foot gets down. Spectacular 15-yard touchdown grab. One more look at the crossbody throw, and those all-white cleats somehow stick the landing for top play number 7. Cue the sirens, because it's a first career touchdown alert down in Danville. Briggs Wallace somehow ripping through the defender and veers off to the corner of the end zone, all the way 39 yards for the Blue Devils score. And he may wear number 5, but he was looking more like the one from the Matrix series, slipping out of trouble like Neo for the 6-point play. More from K-Mac country on the way to start the second half at Centerburg, where Johnstown back Ryan Sager dancing through the fire of arm tacklers before throwing on the afterburners. 66 yards later, the Johnny's back on the board. Pretty special start to this play. 1, 2, a pair of jump cuts, throws a stiff arm, then shifts gears down the sideline. 42-14, the Johnny's roll on the road. And how about some defense to round out our top 10 this week? Big Walnut looking to preserve a shutout, and they'll go a step further. That's Landon Doan dragging down the quarterback in the end zone. It's a safety and only negative 18 yards of offense allowed by the Golden Eagles in this game. That's your 10 nominees for week 2. Vote now to decide who made the top play of the week.
And get in your double dip here on the podcast. You already know
Double
what
dip.
this means. Horns down, baby. We'll get to that here in a minute, but go ahead. Comment here on the Facebooks, on the YouTubes, and let us know who you think had the very best play of this last week, number 2. But it's not just about the individual plays. How about the individual talents out there? And kids just showing out again this week, Travis. We had some tough kids that we actually had to leave off the list just because there's a lot of great ones.
Because there's a lot of phenomenal ones, like the phenomenal game played at the Horseshoe this week, but we had phenomenal athletes up and down our OH.Report viewing on Friday night. And now it is time to unveil this week's nominees, week number 2 of the Friday Night Phenom, brought to you by Sphere on Mid-Ohio. Friday. Our first Phenom is one of the big reasons why, as Ryan Sager carried the pigskin 21 times for 205 yards and 6. Yes, you heard that right. 6 touchdowns. His fantasy owners have to be extremely happy with him. Our second nominee had the Galion Tigers pouncing on the Cary Blue Devils, as quarterback Aiden Schmidt had another dual threat night with 9 of 16 passing for 120 yards, while rushing 8 times for 71 yards and 4 total touchdowns. Look out, MOAC, we got ourselves another contender. Another surprise MOAC squad is the Clear Fork Colts, as they had a convincing win over Zanesville on Friday, and Nom Nom number 3 did it all in the dub. Devin Oswalt was golden, rushing once for a 27-yard score, catching 1 ball for a 64-yard touchdown, and also returning a pick to the house. He touched the ball 3 times and got 18 points out of it. Efficiency, folks. Nominee number 4 has already made a name for himself in the KMAC, as Northmore's Connor Stockdale had himself his second multi-touchdown game of the season. He started the scoring off against Seneca East with a 74-yard touchdown reception, then ended the half with an 80-yard pick 6. That's 6 catches in total and 217 yards when you add in the defensive score. Our 5th nominee helped sour opening night on the brand new turf at Tough Street Stadium, as Utica's Aaron Hayes scorched the new carpet, amassing 250 total yards, throwing for 2 scores, while also rushing for 2, as they knocked off the Blue Devils 27-8. Now to nominee number 6 and a rivalry performance to remember for Elgin's Nate Freshour. He ran all over Ridgedale with 14 carries for 123 yards and a score. That's an efficient 8.8 yards per carry, as the Comets defeat the Rockets in the space game 36-7 for win number 1 in 2025. Nom Nom 7 grounded the Eagles at Marsh Field, as Calvert's Logan DeMoss was all over the field, leaving his mark on all 3 aspects of the game, catching 4 balls for 81 yards and a score, returning a punt 77 yards to pay dirt, while also picking off a pass, as the Senecas are now into the win column. Our final nominee is one you will be seeing a lot this season, as Shelby's Braden DeVito put up big numbers, nearly going perfect passing 8 of 9 with 156 yards and 2 scores, while taking to the ground 11 times for 154 yards and 2 more scores, totaling 310 yards on the evening, as the Whippets rolled to 2-0. There are your 8 nominees. It's now time to cast your vote, with the winner being announced on Friday's episode of The Pigskin, and it's all brought to you by Sphere on Mid-Ohio. And as always, do you know how many votes you get if you vote during this show, Jonathan?
Say 2.
Dos. It's a double dip. So get your votes in here, as we're at the midway point of this show, but we got some good stuff coming up for you. Now it's time to get on a bus.
Well, not quite.
Not the bus, but
not quite yet.
Quite
yeah,
yet.
well, we're going to ride that bus down
Yeah.
to C-Bus, though.
Yeah.
Did you notice that it was kind of a big afternoon on Saturday? If you went grocery shopping between the hours of noon and 3:30, you were
Yeah.
probably the only one in the store. pretty noticeable. We had no live streams on the OH Report on Saturday because we all wanted you to fixate your eyes on the big noon kickoff and Lee Corso and his last day on the ESPN and pick the right headgear too. So what a day at the shoe. Of course, Ohio State, number 3 in the country, defending champions. Oh, that's pretty cool too, what they were able to do for Corso.
This was ESPN's college game day of I was not expecting something like this. I thought they'd be off to the side, but no. They put the stage right at midfield. The band said Corso. They had signs in the student section that said, "Thanks, Corso." And he went with his love, his first love.
Could you imagine if he would have thrown on the Texas head? There was no way that was going to happen.
No. That's why they had it set up in the middle, too, because if he knew he was going to go with Brutus.
What a day for his picks. Perfect.
Undefeated. Well, not his picks on game day, and then each team that he coached or played for also won. Florida State upset Alabama. He was there.
Check.
Navy, Indiana.
Check.
All of his
Northern
teams.
Illinois, I believe, was another one.
Yeah, there was about 6. But if you would have made a bet for all of his teams that he's coached and then his picks, he probably could have won.
You wouldn't have to make another bet.
A few
ever
$1,000 at least. If you had done that.
Bets should have had that knowledge, man. We should have known it was going to be a special day. But for Ohio State fans, it really was special. That's why, again, no live streams here. I mean, I covered a girls' soccer match, but only because my kid plays. So let's talk about the game and how Ohio State was able to win 14-7. It was a bit of a vanilla game plan offensively for Ohio State, but I thought that it was the right move, Jonathon, given how well the defense came out of the gates playing. First career start, to know that he was the full-time starter for Archie Manning. I know it was his third, but first time on the road, and it just really felt like Ohio State, they played to win the game and nothing else, nothing flashy.
And I got to give credit to Coach Ryan Day because I love his game plan, or I guess his kind of mentality coming in. Talking about his freshman quarterback, Julian Sayin, pretty much all he said was, you don't have to play spectacular. You just have to go 1-0. And that was the message coming in, and Sayin took that to the heart, and I still think he played a really, really good game. But definitely a little bit vanilla on the offense, just like you said. But, I mean, that was how they started, and then they saw the defense kind of just kick in, and how could they go really anywhere else trying to put any more pressure than they needed to on that freshman? But great job. Just, I think all 3 sides of the ball dominated pretty much 3.5 of the 4 quarters. I think Texas started to come back there towards the end, but ultimately they got the job done. But got to give credit to Texas, too, staying in it a little bit. I think we just kind of discovered these 2 teams are still really good.
Yeah, I mean, you said it right. Sayin, 13 of 20, 126 yards and a touchdown, but the big stat, 0 interceptions.
Right.
He did exactly what he needed to do. And actually, it probably should be about 14 or 15 out of 20, but your boy Jeremiah Smith had a case
2
of the
drops in a row
There
to
were
start.
4 drops, I believe. So it should have been,
17 of 20.
His first 3 throws, I think, were drops.
Yeah.
So if it could have tumbled out of control, it would have been right away, but he was cool. He stayed collected and very accurate passer. That's what stood out to me watching him. Almost every single throw, none tipped at the line of scrimmage. Everything at least got in the vicinity of the receiver's hands, and that's what we were told, that he was that type of cat. He's going to put the ball where it needs to be, and just that $1 million smile. To have that look as an Ohio State quarterback, I mean, that's an award-winning formula, but especially if you're going to beat the number 1 team in the country on opening day, Jonathon, it felt pretty good to be a Buckeye fan on Saturday.
It did, absolutely, but it did not feel great to be a Manning because, yet again, one of the Mannings lose their debut college football games, and Arch did not look good, simply put. But
not impressed.
I will say, I was listening to the Joel Klatt show, great show, by the way, on Fox, but he was saying we should have expected this because what first-year starting quarterback goes into a top 5 opponent's house and wins? Nobody. It's nearly impossible.
No.
Yes.
So I guess coming in, the expectations, if you take the Manning name off the back, I think that was kind of what did things. And I think that's the difference, too, with the quarterbacks because Sayin, compared to Manning, had 0 pressure coming into this game. It was just kind of unfortunate for Arch that so much was put on his shoulders so early. And I don't think that's Texas's fault. It's just the media like to put everything on some youngins like Arch Manning.
Can we talk about this play right here, though? The catch Carnell Tate had to get them their 14th point. That was a phenomenal catch. Like, that was we've had some great catches over this first weekend of where 4 of the top 10 teams lost. Just because we had matchups of top 10 teams.
Right.
And then Florida State pulling off the major upset too. But that was one of the highlight catches of the weekend, and it was an important one too because it gave Ohio State just that little bit of cushion for even if Manning did start waking up late. He did throw that touchdown pass, but it was already 14-0. So that play is, remember this, down the line when you get towards the end of the season and Ohio State's probably still ranked up there, maybe getting a bye, maybe getting a top seed, that catch very big in the ending of that game.
And that was pretty much the only big shot they took down the field, and they cashed in on it. So you got to love that. But the one thing I want to note, too, is because they were kind of vanilla in their play calling this week, but, of course, that's going to change because they don't really play anybody of note until Week 7 when they play Illinois.
Don't say that to Ohio Bobcat fans.
Yeah.
Might get disappointed. All right. Well, somebody kind of predicted that Carnell Tate was going to be an X factor if you like to read the CLE-BUS, and I definitely do from week to week. So let's welcome in the always handsome and dashing Mr. Lucas Wickiser, Buckeye
back,
fan
buddy.
and
Horns
writer
down,
extraordinaire.
baby.
What up?
Horns down.
Horns down.
There we go.
So,
Luke,
hey guys, I got
how's
one
that
question
for
you.
kicking off the 2025 season at home in style, man? It had a little bit of everything. Boiled down to the final couple possessions, and the Buckeyes get it done, man. What's your top takeaways?
Matt Patricia's an amazing defensive coordinator. I know it is one game, but I was a little nervous to see how he would do replacing Jim Knowles. But I would almost say it might be an upgrade. I mean, I know some fans were still making excuses saying that, Ohio State gave up a bunch of yards, but when they needed to be clutch, they had it. Texas was 1 of 5 on 4th down. And so it was amazing to see Ohio State do their job and take care of business. So my big takeaway is Matt Patricia, welcome to Columbus, and we'll see what he can do from here.
I'm with you, man. I feel like collectively football fans weren't talking a lot about him coming over to our organization. This is a 3-time Super Bowl winning defensive coordinator, and he might have got wrote off because his time with the Lions when he was the head coach, it didn't go as well as Motor City Dan Campbell's run is going right now. So overlooked in a lot of ways. So coming in, replacing Jim Knowles, who I think a lot of people in Columbus loved, but that stood out to me too, unquestionably. The looks that we were giving pre-snap were not the coverages that they were playing, Lucas. And if we can continue to do this against the top caliber teams, I think Ohio State, not only are they going to be right in the mix for a national championship, they could improve from even what we saw a season ago on that side of the football.
Oh, yeah, I would definitely agree with you there. I mean, like I said, I'm still trying to be even keel. I went nuts as soon as we stopped Texas, but it is one game. We got a lot of work to do, and I know Coach Day and Matt Patricia and everybody on the staff and team would say there's always room to clean stuff up, but sky's the limit, man. Defending national champs, let's go. I don't know when the last time a team repeated was. I keep thinking it was Pete Carroll and USC or something. I think that was the last one. So you're talking about 2 decades since a team that has repeated as national champs, I think. So it's going to be tough, but I'm ready. Let's go.
Yeah, and they should have had another one except for Texas. Got him in that game with Vince Young and the boys. So they were thinking they might have that type of season. At least it's not starting that way. So let's get a little bit into Archie Manning and what you thought, just his overall performance. Obviously, it didn't live up to the hype of what the media was collectively talking about, but as we were just detailing, Matt Patricia's defense, I think, gave him a lot of really creative looks, and he wasn't that comfortable at any point in the game. As far as just being a prospect, moving forward, What's your thoughts on Archie Manning and what his upside might be?
I think Archie Manning is going to be fine. But to go back to Matt Patricia and the Ohio State defense, it's almost unfair. I mean, you're talking about a kid, even though he's a Manning and he knows the game of football, he's been around. He probably had a football in his crib when he was a baby. But it's almost unfair. You're talking about him having to face, like you said, a Super Bowl winning defensive coordinator in probably the toughest environment in the country. Sorry, Big House. But, you're talking about him having to face both of those things in his first career start. It's almost unfair, but I think he's got a great upside. I think he just needs to be better making decisions with the football. He, just needs to make his reads better and be more crisp on his throws, because there was a couple throws he made that were, I don't think those were really Patricia or the defense. He just threw them at the feet of his receivers, but he'll be fine. As for a Heisman Trophy contender, I don't think he's going to win now. I think that pretty much showed that you put some pressure on this kid, he's going to crumble like a lawn chair. But I think he is a good to great quarterback at his ceiling. But we'll wait and see. I have a feeling we're going to have a rematch with those guys come January. It'll be interesting.
Got your article pulled up right now. Go over to OH.Report and click on the CLE-BUS if you want to read Lucas's perspective. And you talk about Julian Sayin managing the game. We've detailed that we thought that he did a really nice job of just that. But Travis, C.J. Donaldson, baby, he's a big boy. He's a bruiser.
Yes.
You guys are probably missing him in Morgantown a little bit now, yeah?
Jaheim White is a very fast running back that we have. They had a 1-2 punch. And so CJ got some of that Ohio State money coming at him. I actually bought a CJ Donaldson West Virginia jersey, so I don't know what I'm going to be doing with it because I'm not going to wear it now. He's not a Mountaineer anymore. But
you're not going to support him.
You got a bruising back, and that's what you saw in the first touchdown in the game on 4th and goal from the 1 or the 2. He can run people over. He averaged 3.5 yards per carry on the afternoon. 19 carries, 67 yards in that one touchdown. But that's exactly what he's going to give you, and that's exactly what Ohio State needs, that short yardage back. Sometimes he can break them. He has some speed, but, I mean, you got yourselves a good running back. But, Lucas, I got a question about Sayin. He did exactly what they needed him to do today, or on Saturday. 13 of 20, 126, no interceptions, 1 touchdown. How important are the next 4 or 5 weeks going to be for him? Because at some point this season against a big ranked opponent, he's going to have to show out and put up a good number. He did what they needed him to do against Texas because of the defense and the game plan. But what is he going to have to do to, just get better, take that next step in order to be that quarterback Ohio State needs towards the end of the season, especially when they have Michigan trying to break that losing streak?
Right. No, I think for Julian Sayin, I think the big thing, well, there's 2 ways to look at this. I mean, Julian Sayin, he's obviously got to keep making great decisions with the football, especially against Grambling next week. That's supposed to probably be a blowout. I don't even know what the line is there. But then when you look at the coaching staff, I almost think for Ryan Day, you kind of want to strike a good balance between, obviously getting him more reps, getting him more comfortable commanding the offense. But at the same time, do you really want to show your hand to your Big Ten opponents? Because I think they were conservative to try to hide some of these wrinkles. Because you're not going to reveal them against Texas. You want to keep those for Penn State, for Michigan, for the playoff if the Buckeyes make it. But for Julian Sayin, I think he's got to keep making good decisions. I want to see what he does when he's really under pressure, when he's getting kind of pressured like Archie Manning was on Saturday, because it will happen. He will face some pressure. And if he can handle things under pressure, look out, because that's when the most dangerous quarterbacks make the biggest plays. So for Julian Sayin, I think he's just got to keep making good decisions. And for Ryan Day and his staff, they've got to get him used to some of these wrinkles, and then when the time comes in late October, early November, let it fly. So there's more than one way to look at this.
And that's a good point, too. While Sayin didn't see much pressure on the pass rush side of things, I think that Texas defensive line still did a good job in the run game, because we're talking about Donaldson. He did score a touchdown, but I felt like that was an area that Ohio State still needed to answer some questions, because that offensive line, while they do return some pieces, there's some holes there. What do you think, Lucas?
I think I almost think at their best, and like I said, we still got a long way to go, but at their best, I think this line could be like 2014, because I don't know if you guys remember that season. I forget how many guys Ohio State lost on the offensive line, but it was basically a new look offensive line. Fans were already, nervous or scared. They looked bad against Navy, but then several weeks later, what were they doing? They were raising the championship trophy. So I think it's going to have to be one of those cases where the offensive line gets better and better every week. And I think there's only one way to do that. It's baptism under fire. And man, oh man, did they pass with flying colors against Texas. So we'll see. But yeah, it's just a 1 week at a time kind of thing. I don't want to really get into any controversial takes just yet. So I'm probably a little vanilla on that one. But if the offensive line can just keep working together each and every week, we'll see what the ceiling is. I don't think we've even seen remotely how good this team can be. I'm excited.
Yeah. And Brian, the last team to repeat, you probably had this blanked out of your mind. It was Georgia, 21-22.
Oh, Georgia.
Yeah, I've been trying to forget.
Yep.
And then Bama in 11-12. But yeah, Georgia was the last
Okay.
to repeat just a couple years ago.
The Stetson
Just
Bennett
happened.
era.
How quickly we all forget. They just
New
won it
Year's
a
Eve
couple
and
of
New
years
Year's
back.
Day, 2021.
Oh, man. Travis, the wide right at midnight still breaks my heart, even though we've got another championship trophy, man. We should have had another one because TCU wouldn't have stood a chance that year. But, we watched the ball drop. It went wide right at midnight that year. But we'll see. I think Ohio State's got the tools to repeat. But, man, oh, man, it's going to be a gauntlet.
Hey, speaking of broken hearts, Lucas, guess what? The Browns are back, baby. It's week 1, so
Perfect
NFL,
segue.
it's here. What I love, though, we get the Battle of Ohio right out of the gates. We got Joe Burrow and the boys coming up to Cleveland, trying to take down a Browns team that they just have not been able to figure out on the road. Looking forward to this game very much. I have been. Are you in the same camp as a lot of my Browns fans right now, Lucas, that they're just waiting to see what type of team they're going to have before they buy in? I'm really pumping the brakes on my expectations, but I care and I want to be there. How pumped are you for this week 1?
I think I'm pumped for week 1. I mean, I'm a little cautious myself. Like I said, for me, I think the biggest thing for the Browns is, can the defense get back to form like they were in 23? Because if they're anything close to that, I think we can be competitive. But right now, it's just wait and see. One thing I do got to say, though, shout out to my dad, Larry Wickiser. It'll be his birthday on Sunday. And my mom is a Bengals fan. My mom's a Bengals fan, so it's going to be an interesting day in our family this weekend. We'll see what happens.
It's my birthday twin then. Lucas, Brian's looking for
Nice.
somebody to go to the Browns game this Sunday with. Would you happen to be interested potentially?
I think I've got something else going on, but I appreciate the offer. So, but yeah, we'll have to wait
Offering
and see.
for
Hopefully,
you, Brian.
It looks like I got to get my Jason Derulo on and just ride solo up there, man, on this thing. So I'll probably find some friends somewhere out there in the dog pound. I've just been a little surprised. Reached out to my Brownie Boys gang, and nobody wants to go up. They're talking about we want to save our money for Ohio State, and then I think we looked at the ticket prices and we're like, maybe the Browns is the better option. But I'm just I'm feeling like this matchup. A lot of people talking about the Bengals right now, and are they a Super Bowl contender? And should they be the favorite in the AFC North, Lucas? And after having, I think, the 30th best defense in football last year, not sure that they added anybody other than Hendrickson's back on the team after not participating in training camp whatsoever. So I'm not so sold on Joe Burrow and that really expensive lineup that they have where they got 3 dudes that are bringing in 75% of the team's salary. I think that Cleveland's in a little bit better situation where we don't have quite the star power this year, but I like Flacco back at the helm. I understand that he's 40 years old. Jerry Jeudy probably going to take a step up when he's getting an opportunity to have a consistent quarterback throwing him a nice, pretty ball. So I think him. Obviously, I think our tight ends are in a good shape right now. So I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm not heading in full steam ahead like I was last year, Luke. But the over-under right now on the Browns, I think in Vegas is like 5.5 games. I think you got to go with the way over this year, no?
I wouldn't say way over, but we'll have to wait and see. I think for me, and I hate saying this, it's still going to be like a growing pain type of year, but I think for the Browns, for me, if they won more than 6, I would be okay with that right now. I mean, I don't want to think that way. I always want to compete for the playoffs, but for me, I think the Browns, if the defense rounds back into form, if they're 9-8, I would be ecstatic because, like I said, I don't really know what kind of team we have. I don't know how good the defense is going to be. I know we have good pieces. But again, we thought the defense was going to be great in 24, and they were just, Swiss cheese. So we'll wait and see. But if the defense can show up and round back to form, I think the Browns could probably go around 500, maybe slightly over, which would, I'd be ecstatic. But right now, I'd go with slightly over. I'd go 6 or 7 wins right now. I'm being conservative. And again, I don't want to do this like I did in 23, but if the Browns are actually doing well and they're in it by Thanksgiving, then I'm going to get excited. But for right now, we'll just wait and see. If we win week 1 and beat the Bengals, I'll be ecstatic and rubbing it in everybody's face that's on the Bengals side of the family. That'll be fun.
Sorry, I got to turn it to Steelers corner over here. It just feels like the Browns fans are not feeling too good about this year right now.
I mean, why? Every Browns fan should be like pumped. You're 0-0 like everybody else. You're tied for first place.
This is our time of year, Luke. If I can't get you on board now, I'm not sure that it's coming, all right? I don't like this mentality of, hey, if we're playing good, I'm going to go out and support. That's not how I'm approaching this season or any season with my Browns. And I want that to be recognized right here on the show, here on the OH.Report podcast. I bought in every single year. I don't care about what the record says. I'm a devoted fan every Sunday at 1 p.m. because you're damn sure right. We don't get any primetime games this year. One of only 2 teams in the whole league. That is blasphemy. We're one of the oldest franchises. It is crazy that we get a home game in London, too.
Do you know the other team by chance?
Do you know the other team by chance that doesn't have a primetime game?
Who the other team is?
Yeah.
Let me Google. It might be the Raiders.
That's probably fair.
So, but
Yeah,
but no,
look it up real
I don't
fast.
want to get my hopes down or anything. But it's just, if you get them way too high, like what was it, 2019? I started drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit when we made the Odell Beckham Jr. trade, and that one just floated around like a turd in a punch bowl. So who knows, man? I'm being kind of conservative here. Give me a week to week thing, and if we're about 3-3 through the first 6, I will be happy to ecstatic. And then because that means we're competing. But we'll wait and see. I hate being cautious, but it's life as a Browns fan, man. We can only take so much more heartbreak. So we'll wait and see what happens. But if we win against Cincinnati in week 1, yeah, that one will have me barking.
Yeah, you should feel good about a 3-3 record through 6 because you're 6 versus the Bengals, at the Ravens, versus the Packers, at the Lions, versus the Vikings, and then in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to take on the Steelers in week 6.
Yep.
But 3-3 through there, and actually that make you 6-3 because you guys went 3-0 in the preseason champs, baby.
That's right. I got shirts being made right now, Luke. I'll send one out to you. We may go 0-6 out of the gates, but I'm still going to be there, be barking. It's Browns, Saints, Titans, 3 teams, no primetime games.
I would have gave you that Packers win, but now that Micah Parsons is making his way over,
Makes a difference.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
the AFC North has got a tough one this year because we have the Bills division, and then we have that NFC division, the NFC North, which is just stacked as well.
Loaded this year.
They could get 3 teams in the playoffs easily.
Could see them
AFC
somehow
North,
getting them all if that
AFC
was possible,
North
right?
could get 3 teams in the playoffs too, but this division is going through a meat grinder this year, and they may very well go 500 against each other in the division as well. Like I always say every year, because it's just it could happen like that.
it is the most competitive division year after year in football. The
Yes.
AFC North.
And it may end up hurting if just a little tease it what Jonathan's predictions are for the whole NFL. But it's competitive, but you go up against the rest of the schedule that both our teams have, and it's going to be tough. I think you have to get 10 just to get, a chance at the playoffs this year, and it's going to be hard to come by.
That is a look at the Week 1 schedule. We already talked about the Browns and the Bengals. Here are all the other games coming up this Sunday fun day. And Thursday Night Football, a pretty good one in that NFC East. The defending champs and the Cowboys, who are a 7.5-point dog now that Micah Parsons isn't there. I'm sure collectively the entire world is going to be tuning into that one. When you look up and down all these games here, boys, let's keep the Steelers and the Browns out of it. Which game are you most excited to see?
I'll let you take it first, Jonathan.
I think out of all of these, I am intrigued to see how the Vikings do with J.J. McCarthy at the helm.
Such an unknown.
Yeah, going up against the Chicago Bears, another team that I'm kind of high on this year. Just considering Caleb Williams could definitely move them in the right direction this year. I think it's going to be, right now, I am kind of leaning towards the Vikings having a down year. But that could change. My opinion could change depending on how that game goes.
I'm going to go with the bottom 2 games on the left. Lions, Packers.
Big one.
That should be a big one. And then Bills, Ravens as well.
Yes, sir.
That could be a preview of a playoff matchup. Both of those could be playoff previews right there. So I'm looking forward to those. But, I'm 1 o'clock. I'm going to be watching Aaron in his Steelers debut against a former team, going up against a quarterback going against his former team, and Justin Fields as well. But, I'm just happy football's back.
I know. Doesn't it feel good?
It feels great.
This week, I woke up, I was just like, I don't know. Just my body feels good. Like, what's going on? My kids were at home. I wasn't even annoyed or anything when they were just like, Dad, you make me some breakfast. And I didn't, because I can do what I want. It's NFL Week 1. It's all about me now. And this is Dad's time to shine. Yeah, I might be a little bit down in the dumps at about 4:30 p.m. on Sundays, but I get past that. There's a great thing called vodka. It gets me over the hump every week. And then back on Mondays, I'm here smiling with you boys. Lucas, you can relate.
Oh, absolutely. And I don't know why I haven't bought this. I haven't bought this shirt yet, though, but there's a brown shirt. You could probably get them in any team. But there's a brown shirt with a dog with a beer bottle hanging out of his mouth that says, "This team makes me drink." I got to buy that just in case.
I do have some great brown swag that I'm going to be debuting here on the podcast week to week here. I bought a Victory Monday shirt last year, and as I recall, I got to wear it the very first Monday and then not another time after that, Luke. So it was a rough ending to the season.
Yeah, because one of your wins were on a Thursday night, so it was a Victory Friday, and you couldn't wear it on the podcast.
So looking forward to getting that one, dusting off the cobwebs, and then shout out Homage. They've got some really cool threads every single year. They roll out some new stuff. So I've got 3 new Browns tees. Got this one too. Got some Mike Tyson on today. So I've just addicted to buying cool T-shirts. I just hope that I got a team that can help produce. So let's make some quick, bold predictions here, boys. Let's go over to Steelers Corner. First, you've got an all-time great, a legend at quarterback, obviously a defense that's up for the challenge every year, and a coach that, even though he's kind of stuck on that 9-win campaign right now, he never loses. What do you feel like the win total is going to be for the Steelers?
I'm going to go 11, and that gets us competing for a division championship. If not, we're going to be we're probably going to be the last team in, because it's going to be, like I said, it's a meat grinder there, but everybody else, there's some teams that have the ability of winning 12, 13 games in the AFC, and every team that makes the playoffs may be in double digits. We might not see a 9-win team this year make the postseason. So I'm going to go 11 with Aaron Rodgers, maybe 12 if we can steal one, or if we don't have that, Mike Tomlin letdown game where we lose to somebody we're not supposed to, all up Browns on Thursday night in the snow. But, yeah, that's what I'm going to say, 11. What say you, fellow Steeler?
I have bounced all the way from 12 wins to 8 to I don't know. Right now, as we head into Sunday, there's going to be a lot of questions that get answered in that game against the Jets. But I think I've got to trust Mike Tomlin to get us back over 500. And I think it's going to be 9 or 10. I know that we're going to show my predictions here that I made about a month ago, but I did put them in the pod, but we'll get to those in a moment. But I just feel like Pittsburgh, this isn't the year. I feel like with Aaron Rodgers at the helm, it's not the year that the Steelers dip below 500.
No, and with the additions we had on the defensive side especially, I wish we could have gotten another wide receiver. Maybe we still can, but with the defense we have, with Aaron Rodgers now slinging that ball around, got a guy named DK Metcalf that can catch the ball. I think, this is the year that if we don't win a playoff game, then Tomlin should be on the hot seat.
Or at least Aaron Rodgers is gone and we start over again, like we've done the last 3 years.
And then the former Buckeye comes in and takes us to the promised land.
We'll see, Luke. How about you out there in Browns country? You said that you're a little iffy. You'll check in with me after maybe the holidays and let me know how you're feeling about the team. But if you had to put it on wax right now, how many wins do you see for Cleveland?
Right now, and I got to go back and look at the schedule, but right now, the floor would probably be 4 or 5, which would be another brutal season. Thank God for my sweetheart Elizabeth to be there with me. She's got to put up with that. If she can make it through a 4-win season with the animal, and she still wants to stick around, she's wife material, man. So, but I would say the floor for me would be, I'd say the floor for me would probably be about 4 wins or so. Absolute ceiling would be about 9. If we really start going on a tear, maybe 10 at the very, very top, but. We'll see. Like I said, I'm being very cautious here. Like I said, it all hinges on the defense. If the defense can round back into the form that looks somewhat close to 23, we have a shot to win some of these, including week 1. I do think we have a shot there, but the defense needs to show up. It all hinges on them first.
Yeah, I'd like to kind of prove Browns fans wrong, that everyone's sleeping on this team, and come out and have some fireworks. So to be continued. Looking forward to seeing, though, some bold predictions, Jonathon. So you're going to lay these on us. When did you make said predictions, and what headspace were you in when you put these together?
So I was introduced to this website a month ago, and it's game-by-game NFL predictions where you go all the way from week 1 to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
This is the screenshot. It's a little bit wide, but you can see the standings of how they end up. I made this a month ago. This is pre-Micah Parsons trade, so ignore the NFC East, because I did have all 3 of the Commanders, Eagles, and Cowboys finishing 11-6. But I think take away some of those wins from the Cowboys, add them to the Packers, and I feel like that would be a pretty good indicator now.
You got the Steelers missing the playoffs and not winning 9 games.
I did.
What is this?
It's the hardest thing is like I don't look at the record as I'm going through game to game, because I just go with as I'm picking, and then the next week comes along, and it just keeps on stacking up. And then at the end, when I just go through all the predictions, this is what came out, and I was honestly stunned. Like the Patriots going 2-15, that was not planned. I did not mean to do that. That just ended up happening just with how their schedule is this year. The Raiders going that low definitely was planned.
Are my Browns at 8-9?
They are.
That is where I really feel like they're going to finish close to 500 this year. If my gut just tells me that we're tougher out than everyone's giving us credit for because the defense has a lot of dudes back. We'll see what the offense looks like. I mean, I really like our tight ends.
I mean, if it's anything like the Buckeyes, you don't need the offense to do anything spectacular.
That's right, baby. Just roll with we'll get you there. And did I see that you had the Bengals in the Super Bowl?
I did.
Now, can you explain to me your mindset on a team that was as putrid as they were defensively the last 2 years and a Joe Burrow cat that can't seem to stay healthy consecutive years? He's never done it so far in the NFL. How do you see them making it all the way to the last day of the season?
I just feel like a team out of the AFC North is going to jump up way ahead, and I think the battle test that they get in that AFC North this year is going to help them push forward. And I just feel like that defense can't get any worse than what it was. And I feel like if we can see a healthy Joe Burrow year, which is definitely what I had in mind putting that path together, we could see something special happen just from that offense. They're all locked up. I think they're going to be ready for the year. We'll see how it goes, but I do really like the Lions this year. I will say that.
If the
Detroit.
Steelers were not to win a Super Bowl, I would be rooting for MCDC and the Lions. Like, Detroit deserves a championship. The Guardians deserve to finally win a championship. Well, Detroit, those fans, they've suffered long as well.
And I
like
fear
the
for
Browns,
them.
Yeah.
Last year was their year.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, the injury bug, it bit them, and then it took another bite, like those kneecaps that Dan Campbell was wanting to chew on. It just took them over, and I'm not so sure that it's like striking a match 2 times doesn't normally happen. Be cool to see if they can make it. Not so sure, though. Speaking of Joe Burrow, though, and the Bengals, he was my quarterback selection for fantasy, even though I got him on the bench this week because I don't start players against my Browns ever. And I hold true to that.
That's a good philosophy.
I can't root for him if that's the case. But we all had our fantasy drafts. We each have one team. Well, I guess Travis has a couple of teams.
Yep.
But this is what we want to do for anybody that's out there watching, where we got each of the rosters kind of put together here on little graphics. So take a look. Break them down if you can read them.
So the far left is mine.
Okay.
The far right's Jonathon's, and Brian, the boss, you're right in the middle.
Right in the middle where I should be.
But yeah, so my league, the one I picked is the yard. This isn't the touchdown league that I had to draft yesterday. This is actually, points per reception. But, I got to keep Mr. Josh Allen, Jordan Love. All you need is love is my team name. Saquon Barkley, I had the number 1 pick, got Saquon. Devon Achane, who I hear is now almost ready to play in week 1, which is good.
We can see them all. You don't have to break it all down.
But yeah,
But
I'm
you're
just
starting
saying,
2 quarterbacks in this league?
It's a 2-quarterback league, yes. 10 teams.
How high are you on Caleb Williams this year putting up stats, boys?
I think he's
due.
He's due.
He's due. Absolutely.
That's why I like Swift a lot, running back from that, and a couple of his wide receivers too.
I'll tell you one team I'm investing stock in, the Arizona Cardinals. I just feel like it is about time that they kind of explode in the NFC. And, of course, they're one of the worst sports teams in all of sports in history, but they just feel like they need to get back to another sort of run just to be disappointed in the end again.
If it wasn't for Santonio Holmes, they might have had a championship too, but
so close.
Toe touch.
So I've got Kyler Murray and Trey McBride as my big old stack this year.
Okay,
Nice.
so he's kind of trying to parlay the two together.
Yep.
My philosophy on drafts, and I normally do this, but I did it again this year, my first 3 picks were all running backs. Where do you guys land on that? Because wide receivers, you can start 5 at a time out on the field. Running backs are so valuable at the end of the year. They normally get injured. I almost never waste a first, second, or third round pick on any other position unless, like, if I could get Jamar Chase at the end of the first round or something, I'm going to do it. But all 3 running backs, my first 3 picks.
Well, especially now that running backs are catching more passes out of the backfield. You got CMC, you got Saquon Barkley to name a couple. But, that's the name of the game now. Use your speed, but also pass catching. So in PPR leagues, points per reception, you're going to you need those running backs because they're the ones that are going to get you the most points weekly. And then you do have a couple wide receivers, Jamar Chase, who put up 600 points last year, or an Amon-Ra St. Brown if he can stay healthy, Justin Jefferson, You know, you got some big names, but yeah, you got to go running backs early on because they're going to get taken up. There's not a ton that are going to put up big numbers, so you got to get them, strike while the iron's hot.
My philosophy was always, if you don't get Jamar, if you don't get Amon-Ra, go running back, no matter who it is. So that's what I did this year for the most part. I think I got Bijan Robinson in pretty much all of my leagues.
Pretty nice.
Pretty good, reliable option, I would say, especially with how young he is. You would hate to see him get hit with an injury bug, but I think of all of those backs, he's probably the least likely, even though his load is probably going to be pretty big this year.
Yeah.
Lucas, you got a fantasy football team that you want to brag on? You play in any leagues?
No, I unfortunately don't play fantasy football. I don't know why. It just I always say I'm going to, but then I never do. But it's interesting to follow my brother-in-law and what his strategy is. He's kind of like an Ozzie Newsome type. Chaz is like an Ozzie Newsome, where he's basically like, I'll find spot for talent on the roster, no matter who it is, what they're doing. But no, I don't play fantasy football. I don't know how I would do, though. It's one of those things where it's kind of like the NCAA tournament. There's people that will pick teams based on colors or mascots, and they'll do better than any of us who crunch the numbers and actually think we know what we're doing. It just is like, what's the rhyme or reason, man? Seriously, it's frustrating.
I do feel there's a bit more to fantasy football than maybe meets the eye. That waiver wire is key the first few weeks of the season, and just making those spot starts, the rotating defenses and kickers. It's all kind of a lot to really keep an eye on, Lucas, but the ones that are great at it, like me during the regular season and not in the playoffs, tends to put you in good positions.
Any fantasy football champions in the room today from last year?
From last year,
No, sir.
I missed out. Brock Purdy against the Buffalo Bills cost me a spot in the playoffs, and just looking at my scores during the secondary playoffs, I would have won it all had Brock Purdy not put up 1 point and CMC not got injured in that game against Buffalo. I just needed 10 more points. Couldn't get it. I had Josh Allen when he threw a touchdown to himself. I thought the comeback was going to be complete, but no, I did not. Didn't make it. It just hurt.
Well,
then I finished last place in the touchdown only league, which if you look at if any of you are friends on my of me with Facebook, that has to be my profile picture until I win a game in the league. So yeah, take a look at that. It's funny. I got a trophy though.
My story was last year I was in 3 fantasy football championship games.
And what was your record in those games?
1-2.
1-2.
So I came away with 1, but it was at the very end. Shout out to Adam Thielen of all players to win me my championship last year.
And I think coming to the Vikings with what they have with their suspensions, he may be a sneaky guy, especially early on in the season. I took him late in the touchdown only league, but yeah, you look at the profile.
I got the picture. It says I suck at fantasy football, and he does have a nice trophy. So
it's
comes
a dog
with
on a toilet.
At least you got a smile on your face.
I mean, hey, might as well embrace it. Embrace the suck this year because I'm going to win it all.
Yeah, I lost the championship by half a point.
Wow.
I screen passed when the Lions were already up 30, and they kept their starting running back in, and I'm not over it yet. Because as I mentioned on the show last week, my friend told me it's all my high school buddies that are in it. I'm one of only 2 people that has not won the league. We've been doing it for 8 years. It's cycled through 8 people, and I'm one of the last to not do. So I am due, as you said about some of those other things, and looking forward to just a great year of football, boys. So it's here. Congratulations on making it to week 1. Shout out to Lucas Wickiser for always being here with us.
Shout out.
Not quite bringing me the adrenaline-packed, fun-loving conversation we normally get with the Browns, but we'll wait and see, man. At least we're at home against the Bengals in week 1, so we should start off on at least a fun foot.
Right, and I do think we can catch Cincinnati. For some reason, they always start slow, and it's good for us that they do because, like I said, if the defense shows up, we have a shot at it. I just hope Joe Flacco's got at least 1 more season left in the tank because, when he had that run in 23 to get us to the playoffs, that was amazing, but he dropped like a rock. So hopefully he's got that 1 great year left in him, at least 1 more great year left in him. If he does and the defense shows up, you're kitty, kitty, kitty.
There it is, baby. All right, guys. Enjoy the rest of your Labor Day. Thanks for kicking it with us here on the OH.Report video podcast. We will be back next Monday with all of the conversation that you didn't know that you needed. Here it was. So long for now.